Yo, what's good, people? How y'all doing? Hope you're doing good, because I'm doing. If y'all know what I was just about to say, then put it in the comment section below. Today I want to go through with y'all kind of like a story time, how I got spiritual. It's kind of like a story time about what I went through in my life on my way to becoming spiritual. Where should I start this? This was around the millennium. Well, I used to be the kind of guy that partied a lot. I was always out. I started going out partying at a very young age because I used to do music and I used to go out performing, so I got to know a lot of people. I used to hang out with people that were older than me, and even my girlfriends were always older than me. And I used to live the kind of like street life, doing business. That's how I used to get my money. And I started getting involved more and more as time went on. But I always knew that the life I was living had two outcomes. Either I would go to jail or I would get killed. So that was not really any good option for me. I started thinking I have to get out of this lifestyle. I knew I couldn't keep this up, and I wanted to do something else. I met a girl that I was seeing for a couple of years, and she hooked me up with a job at a place called Johnson Controls, which was like they used to make like the gearboxes and the inner roofs for Volvos. So they were like a Volvo deliverer company. I worked there for like 3 years. They paid really good, but like on my third year I started feeling like, like a robot. Every day the same thing, doing the same thing, doing the same thing. I got really tired of that, and I figured I want something else for myself, for my life, So I had spoken to my cousin in London who had said that it was cool for me to come over and stay with them for like a while until I had found myself my own spot. So I took her up on this, and I did a couple of things here in Gothenburg that would make sure that I didn't come back, because I didn't want to come back and get back in this life. I was like tired of this rut that I was in. So anyway, so I moved to London. I was in London for like 10 years, working as a receptionist, and most of the time a receptionist in gym and in Fitness First Gym, and I also worked at the Park in Hyde Park, that's a hotel, where I was a receptionist. So when I got to London, I was out one day on Oxford Street, walking around looking in shops, and I met this guy. I don't know, it was like I'd seen him before, but I really hadn't, and he felt the same thing with me, so we started talking, and he told me he was getting off work soon. We could go and have a drink or whatever and talk. Turns out he was from Finland. His name was Michael, and so we hooked up and we went and had a drink, and he told me that him and his flatmate were looking for a bigger spot, and they would need another guy to come and live with them as well. And that was perfect for me because I was looking for a spot to live at. So we ended up moving in at this place, into this house in Brixton in London. One day I was in Michael's room. We were talking and shit, and I saw this book that he had lying around. The name of the book was The Power of Now. So I grabbed it because I started reading this time. I had read Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, that had inspired me a lot, and that was kind of the inspiration that I needed to travel and leave this place from the beginning. And when I found this book called The Power of Now, I read it, and that got me really inspired to start meditating, which I did. I started meditating. In the beginning it was really hard. I used to put on white noise in my headphones and just block out everything and just lay in bed, like straight in bed for like 15 minutes every day. Then I started going longer, like for half an hour, 45 minutes, and before long I was doing like an hour. Yeah. One day I saw an advertisement for this movie, The Secret, and I watched it, and that got me really inspired. And I looked up these guys that were talking in presenting The Secret, and one of them was Bob Proctor. I looked him up, and he had this program of I don't know if it was by Neural Beats or something like that you listen to, and you would get into deep meditation straight away. So I ordered this package from Bob Proctor, and I saw that first of all it was expensive, and second of all it was just like you had to order more, because there was step 1, step 2, step 3, and the binaural beats started getting more and more intense, like you had to work it up. But what I did was I looked for it on like downloading sites. I looked for the program on sites on the internet where you can download stuff like music and whatever, and I found some of them. So I downloaded them and I started using them, and I did that for a while. But then later on I found that you could find the same thing on the apps on your smartphone. When you go to App Store or whatever, you can find apps that do basically the same thing. That's how I started meditating. And when you meditate, you automatically become more spiritual, because I did this for like 10 years, and after 10 years I lost count on how long I had been meditating. I've been meditating for I don't know how many years after that now. But the key to getting spiritual, I think, is to start meditating and start thinking about learning how to control your brain, how to shut off your brain. Because these days I can shut off my brain whenever I want to, and it's such a relief. Yeah. So meditation, to me, I feel, automatically makes you more spiritual. If you start meditating, it makes room for you to have time for yourself, to like relax and cut out all the noise coming in from the world around. You get like a time to just sit and let new thoughts come into your mind, and you automatically get more spiritual. And you also get time to listen to your body and listen to your senses, because I believe we are born with genes that have in them everything that you need to know. And if you listen to your body, it tells you what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. And when you meditate, you get a chance to listen to your body and to your senses. Like I went for like 6 years without eating meat, Cause my body was telling me every time I ate meat, I felt bad afterwards. So basically, I think I had been overeating meat. So my body was telling me, cut this out. So I went 6 years as a vegetarian, or whatever you call it. I wasn't eating meat. And after a while, my body started telling me again that it wanted meat. So the craving for meat came back. And I basically think that you need to have balance. Balance is the important thing to have. I think it's quite okay to eat meat like maybe 2 times a week, but not to overdo it like every day. It's very important to get the greens as well. I don't believe in going too much to an extreme, like eating only vegetarian, eating only meat. So I believe that meditation is the key, because your body and your genes and your soul already know everything. You just have to give them a chance to speak to you, and that won't happen if you don't sit down and meditate and give them a chance to speak to you and give you the answers to everything. At the same time, I was staying in London. Right before I went to London, I met this girl called Anna, and we were going out, and but I was still gonna move. So we decided to have like a long distance relationship, and so she used to like come to London for the weekend, and I'll come to Sweden, to Gothenburg the next month, and we kept doing this. And the plan was that she was supposed to move to London after her studies, but when she was done with her studies, she was offered a great job as a teacher in at a school in Gothenburg. So she really wanted to do that because that would be good for her merits. And so we decided that I would move back to Gothenburg, and we would get ourselves an apartment and stuff, yeah? So she got the apartment and I moved back. Took about a month and we broke up. I don't know, maybe being together all the time was too much for us, but because it had worked very well, having a long distance relationship. But when we moved in together, didn't take more than a month and we broke up. So I met a new girl about a couple of weeks after that, and I winded up getting a daughter with this girl, and that was another major change in my life, because now I had responsibilities. When I came back from London, I started doing clubs in Gothenburg, and it was going really well. And I thought it would be good for me to have an education, and I found this course where you could study event marketing, and that would be perfect, because then I would have like an education. I wouldn't just be a promoter, but I would actually have an education behind it as well. So I did this course, and after that I got a job at a place called Calor, and I was basically their marketer, and I promoted their club nights and whatever was going on. I had my responsibility was promoting the place. So I did that for 3 years or something, and I started noticing, because since I had gotten a daughter, it wasn't really working out, because I couldn't be out all night in clubs and come home, because my daughter wakes up and she wants to play and wants to, you know, be with me. So it didn't really work out. So I stopped doing the clubs, and I focused more on raising my little girl. Celine, if you're seeing this, I love you. Basically, I know you're gonna see this because you follow my YouTube channel, of course. Anyway, so I couldn't be out keep being out all night because I'm sleeping all day because I had an order to take care of during the day. So did y'all see that? How cool is that? A deer just ran past me. Anyway, so me and my baby mama split up, so I had to move out and get my own apartment. And if you're living in Gothenburg, you know it's really hard getting an apartment. But what happened was I found a little cottage in the woods that you could hire. So I winded up moving there, and I don't know, it felt so perfect because I was out in nature, and now that I was on my spiritual journey, it was the perfect place to be and get back to nature and get out of the big city. That did me so good being out there. Another book that I found really inspiring was a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This book really inspired me a lot and gave me a lot of insights and led me on my spiritual journey. Apart from that, I started like reading the Bible, the Quran, the Braga Vida, or what it's called. You know, just a whole lot of different religious books, because I was searching, I was looking for something. I didn't actually really read them because I could find them on YouTube, and all I had to do was listen to them like on my way to work and or whatever I was doing. I had them in my earphones, and I find that a much better way to study or read than actually reading the book, because you kind of learn the books fluently. Like I learned better by hearing than reading. Okay, so it was like stories to me that I was listening to, and then I learned them. And a good way to spend your time, like when you're doing stuff, like when you're driving, when you're on the train, whatever, listen to books. You can find most books nowadays on YouTube. So after I'd read all these books, I figured out, something came to me and told me these are just the same stories told in a different way. Same stories told in a different way with different names, but the same people, just with different names, because it was different cultures telling the same story. So and also every book, you know, is flawed because it's been I don't know how many years, thousands of years, so they've lost a lot of the full story. But what you find in this story and what you don't find in this story, you find in another book, in another story. So you should actually read all the religions together, put all the religious books together, then you get the full story. It felt like I was born again in some way, and I started educating myself again, like relearning everything around me. I started learning like psychology, nature, how animals act and are against each other, and you know, the animal nature, and a lot of history. I started studying a lot about my history, my people's history, and like what we believed in. In Uganda before we were colonized, and before like religion came to us by the colonizers. Because I actually believe that you can't have the same religion as your colonizer, because their God helped colonize you. You see what I'm saying? So anyways, I was staying in the woods in a little cottage for like 4 or 5 years, and that really gave me a chance to meditate, be in nature a lot, and get to know myself, because I had never really in my life got a chance to be with myself so much and get to know myself and get into my brain and listen to my thoughts I had. It was like a resetting, like the building of a new person without anybody trying to influence me, you know, just getting to know me. So I'm really thankful for those years in nature, in the woods. And like I said, it's all about balance. You can't just be in the woods, because you have to be like out with everybody as well in the city, but you have to keep meditating and like getting your pockets of time by yourself where you get to reset and get centered again, and know that you're on the right track and navigate from there. You see what I'm saying? Well, I guess that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment and a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and click on the notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Alright? Take care of yourselves. Peace and love. And I'm out.